Hey, Antonneous, excuse me. Good morning. What was the
Morning.
feeling like when you got that first sack Friday night?
Oh man, I really can't even explain it. I was so into the game, going to the sideline, telling my teammates, "Man, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win." My mindset was just next play. Get the sack, celebrate with my teammates, but at the end of the day, the game was still going on. So I more so like waiting till that clock to hit, zeros before I started celebrating anything.
Next question comes from Charles Odom from the Associated Press.
Hey, Antonius, it's been a long time since Georgia Tech has welcomed a number one team to Bobby Dodd Stadium. What's the excitement level like, and how do you guys view this as an opportunity for you?
I feel like my teammates we're ready to step up to the challenge. A lot of guys are going to be on us, but the main thing is we stick to our game plan. We stick to what we do. Effort-based defense. Holding guys accountable all week, and I feel like as week goes on, we'll be prepared for sure.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Hey, Antonius, I know the season didn't probably start the way you wanted to in terms of being able to get on the field, but how long did it take you to feel like you were kind of back in the groove? I know you played more at Syracuse probably than you planned, and then it seemed like the last game you kind of were hitting your stride in terms of kind of the type of production you probably look for from yourself. Kind of how long did it take you to kind of get that groove back?
I just say a little bit. I was kind of limited that week. Coming off injury. So they tried to work my way into the game, and then having to play as many snaps as I did Friday, I was more so kind of feeling myself back into the game. But after the Syracuse game, playing Louisville, I feel like as preparation went on, I got a whole lot more reps, a lot more looks, a lot more plays to where I can feel my body out and get my body back into game playing shape. So just going through that on last week's process and leading up to the game, it really showed on Friday.
Next question comes from Bailey Johnson from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Antonius. Obviously, Clemson's offense is really talented with Lawrence and Etienne. What are the challenges of slowing them down, and how do y'all plan to do that?
I think up front, the battle's going to be one up front. Physicality, doing your job, staying low pad level, just fundamentals. The most fundamentally sound team is going to win this game. And also the team with the most players, because of COVID and stuff, is going to win as well. So I feel like if we're throughout the week, we just focus on our fundamentals, get the game plan ready, and make sure we're in our gas and where we're supposed to be. I feel like it's going to be a good game.
Question from Ken Segura from the AJC.
Hey, Antonius. Congratulations on getting the single digit. I imagine you must be pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, Coach Thacker has mentioned a few times just about some, off-field challenges you faced, and I guess I just want to give you an opportunity to, as much as you feel comfortable explaining and shedding light on that and telling your story, we'd love to hear it.
I'll be gladly to reiterate some of that. It hasn't been easy for me, as far as the road to where I am now. Long road, went to Florida, things turn out the way I wanted them to, but I didn't get upset, I didn't waver, I just kept my head down and kept working, listening to the coaches, listening to the older guys, and just, I never complained about anything. But, coming to Georgia Tech, I just saw the culture change and how much the coaches were invested, in me as far as me coming in and them showing me the things I need to work on, and actually getting the opportunity to showcase my talents and actually, contributing to the team in the way I see fit. It's an amazing feeling, and I feel like I came a long way, but I feel like it's just beginning. It's my first game, official game to me, in my opinion, as a Yellow Jacket, and I'm really excited to what the future brings for me going forward with this team.
Another question from Charles Odom from the Associated Press.
There's been, of course, a lot of talk for a couple of years here about the rebuilding task that this new staff faced after the Louisville game. Coach Collins said that this team has a chance to be very good in the present, not just the future. How excited are you guys about where you are in the rebuild, and do you think you're ahead of what maybe many people thought you would be in terms of a rebuilding schedule?
I think as far as that, I feel like the process, like me and and my team, we've really enjoyed the process. From when they first got here, leading into the season. Not getting my waiver last year, but just seeing their development from the sidelines. Because when you're on the sideline, you see everything, and just seeing the team, like versus last year versus this year, man, it's so much better, man. Like the effort, the commitment, how much guys are buying in and invested into the program and trusting the coaches and trusting the process. And I feel like the sky's the limit for this team. But, we're going to determine how far that's going to go, like the players, because, it's all on us. So, I'm excited.
Another question from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
I guess kind of how's the chemistry now with the defensive line, and you've had opportunity to obviously, go through last fall working with guys, and then the spring a little bit this year, and then this fall camp. How's that chemistry? It seems like you and Jordan are starting to, make an impact on games. Can you just talk a little bit about the chemistry in that room?
In the D-line room, the chemistry is phenomenal. The great thing about, our group, the defensive line, we're all already so close. So we're all out together. If Jordan's out there with me, whether it be Jordan, Jamin, Quez, TK, anybody out there, I know that those guys are going to do their job, and I know those guys are going to be in the right position to make the play. It's just like, okay, it's my job. If it's my job to set the edge and flush the quarterback inside, I know that Jamin is going to get the sack, or I know JD is going to scream out the edge and get the sack. So I feel like that's how much accountability and trust, how much it's grown just over the past year, just playing with those guys. It's amazing.
Another question from Ken Segura from the AJC.
Hey, Antonneous, you've obviously last year you had to wait. I think you were thinking you were able to play and you get the waiver, and then obviously the first two games this season, you were hurt, and I'm curious just kind of how did you kind of, I see no choice but to wait, but how did you kind of put your arms around that and find the patience to keep going forward?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just I'm just used to adversity, or I'm just used to being patient, or it's like I didn't have much of a choice but to be patient. So whenever adversity just came my way, I just like, okay, that happened to me. I can't too much dwell on that, because last week, it's just like this. I'm hurt. Like on Syracuse, I played Syracuse, and I didn't contribute as much as I wanted to. I didn't really waver on that. Like, oh man, I didn't really get down in the dust. Like, oh, it's my opening game, something like that. I didn't really get caught up in all that. I was like, okay, watch the film. What do I need to work on? Okay, next game, this week in practice, I'm gonna get the reps. I'm gonna get the conditioning in, and then I promise I'm gonna become prepared for Saturday. So I just feel like if I just keep that same mindset, condition myself to keep that same mindset over the course of the season, I'll be fine no matter what adversity hits me.
Have time for one or two more. We'll start with one from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
And Tony, last week against Louisville, you faced one of the top running backs in the league, and this week you got ETN coming in. How important will it be for the defensive lineman to try to limit the amount of yards that players like him get on the ground this week?
We just have to play strong up front, be stout. Like I said before, just stay in our gaps, be where we're supposed to be, and then the main thing, just executing our job. I feel like that's the main focus is everybody just doing their job, because it only takes one guy to be out of their gap. It only takes one guy not to spill. It only takes one guy not to do what they need to do, and then the thing that's the next big explosive play. And then what tends to happen is, as those mistakes begin to grow, then it's explosive play after explosive play after explosive play. So I feel like the main focus of this week just doing your job. This week is going to be really going to be get tested with discipline this week. Like our discipline, how disciplined we are, is really going to show this week going into this game. So we're working on that.
Okay, we've got one here from Ken Segura from the AJC.
Antonneous, I'm curious, I don't know how much you thought about this, but obviously got the possibility to come back next year. But I mean, just even more immediately, kind of what are your hopes for the season, and kind of how much will that maybe impact what you do as far as you potentially coming back or turning professional?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I haven't even thought about that. I haven't thought about the league. I haven't thought about, coming back. I haven't thought about anything like that at all. My main focus on right now, because what tends to happen, guys get focused on the wrong thing, like, oh, my draft stock, all this type of stuff, and then it leads into their play, and it really shows. You just can't be out there worrying about your draft stock. What you need to be out there worried about is just doing your job and executing, make sure you are where you're supposed to be so we can get the team win. So I feel like as far as like those questions are going to come like later. I mean, the answers to those questions are going to come later, but as far as like right now, till this season's over with, like I'm just strictly worried about my team and what I can do to, help us win.
Okay, our last question has actually come by text, Antonneous, and the question is, how much has being given a single-digit number and what that means here at Georgia Tech under Coach Collins? How excited are you about that, and what does that mean to you?
I'm excited. It's a true honor to be able to wear a single digit. I knew coming in here everything that I did and wanted to be and wanted to have was going to be earned. Everything in this program is earned. And what I just did, I just put in the work, because on the specifics behind this jersey, Coach Collins said the best D lineman gets the jersey. And that's not just dealing with how you play on Saturdays or Fridays. That's what you're doing in practice. Like, is he doing his job in practice? Is he where he's supposed to be? Is he encouraging his teammates? And then the whole, ordeal behind the single digits, we'll look to those guys as leaders on our team and how those guys are going to help us win. So I feel like just having this jersey is a real honor. I mean, I don't feel like it's really sunk in yet, me having a number, because I'm so tuned in to like the game plan and what we're supposed to do. So, so when I walked in, it was just in my locker. So I just said, okay, I guess I'm number 9 now. But, it's a great honor. Not every guy gets to wear these jerseys, so it's a great honor.
Quez, this looks to be a measuring stick kind of game for you guys. How far have you come as a team since the last time you faced this Clemson team?
Of course, through the course of last year, this year, it's a very distinct difference from both teams, and that just comes from everybody just having another year on their belt. Everybody dialing into the system. Everybody like really taking the time out to learn the schemes, getting the playbook and all those type of things, and everybody just behind each other. And it's more team oriented. Everybody's talking, communicative, and everybody just on the right path to be successful right now.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Hey, Quez, you guys have been a lot more aggressive in terms of stripping the ball, and Coach Thacker talked a lot about that being kind of a point of emphasis to try to get takeaways, and obviously you guys had success with that last week. Can you talk a little bit about sort of the way you guys go about that in terms of how you guys drill and kind of the focus on trying to create more takeaways in games?
Well, in college football, turnovers mean everything. Every little thing means something in the game of college football. Like it's like zero room for error. So if you can win the turnover margin and if you can take care of the ball, your chances of winning the game are gonna, skyrocket. So we really preach, leading the country in takeaways, and we practice it every day. Stripping balls, trying to take the ball from guys like Jameer, guys on the offense, that type of stuff. And just really trying to get turnovers, because that's at the end of the day, it's going to be the game changer, and it's going to be to determine if you get a win or a loss.
Next up is Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Quez, with an offense that does a lot of different things, top running back, quarterback, some speed on the outside, how much of a challenge is it for you guys at linebacker to keep your eyes in the right place and carry out your assignments?
Of course it's a challenge every week, because, college has so many dynamic athletes, so, you have to be prepared every week. And, with Clemson, obviously being in like the top team in the country, we're going to have to really be on our P's and Q's to be successful. And, they have playmakers, and, they're going to make plays, but, we have playmakers as well. So we just have to stick to what we do and respect them and just play football the way we know how to.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Quez. Coach Collins, I think at the beginning of the season, he put in kind of a different approach to practicing in the week as far as which days are heavy and lighter and so forth. And I'm curious if you've noticed that and maybe have a sense of what sort of impact that's had on you and the team.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, like some days are lighter than others because, at the end of the day, you have to practice hard. You can't really take any weeks off. So, of course, we might not do as much, things as many other things that we did last year due to coronavirus and all that. But believe me, we're going to work and we're going to continue to do that so we can, make our case to be one of the best teams in the country.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
You're playing, you're playing amped up as the season went along last year, and then this year you've played the majority of the linebacker snaps next to David. Can you kind of just talk about your role as being, a guy on the field so much and kind of how you approach that versus, maybe before when you were kind of coming in a rotation?
Last year, I think I was just getting my feet wet to the college game. And, just learning new things because, of course, it's going to be tough sometimes. I mean, it's college football. But I'm just very blessed in my ability, to learn football at a very fast rate. And so I took that and I just kept learning, kept getting with David and, guys in the linebacker room, Demetrius, all those type of guys, and just, seeing what we can do to get better, like seeing what we can do that we can achieve more than what we did last year. And that was like the whole emphasis of the off season, just to get better, do the things that we don't want to do when nobody else wants to do it. We just got to get better, and that's going to be the determining factor in the difference from this season to last season. But I feel like, man, like I'm just like more acclimated to the game. I'm more confident, playing with more confidence. But that's all I do to the 11 guys around me because they kind of like I feed off their energy, we feed off each other's energy. So it's just great for the whole team in general.
Another question from Ken Segura from the AJC.
Hey, Quez. I'm curious just for your thoughts about how you guys are playing as a unit. I mean, if you look at the numbers, and I know the numbers don't mean everything, but obviously, like, so for instance, third down, I'm sure isn't quite sure what you want, but I'm sure there's more that goes into it than, hey, let's play better on third downs. What do you feel like are the things that, if we can do these things better, our play as a whole will improve?
I simply think getting off the field on third downs because we do a pretty good job between, like the first and second down, like good job of, trying to stop the run or trying to get it, like do things to throw them out their mark. But whenever as y'all can see, like this season, whenever we got into like those second and long or those third and long situations, they kind of converted them. And, we simply can't have things like that happen against, great teams like Clemson. So definitely getting off the field on third down.
What goes into that? Like, are there things that you guys aren't doing particularly well on third down that are affecting that, you think?
Nah, it's just little minor mistakes that, we're going to get better at. Nothing major.
Okay, and last question comes via text, and the question, Quez, is with the number one team in the country coming into Bobby Dodd Stadium, first time in 40 years that the number one team in the country has come and played here at Tech. Does that add any additional meaning or excitement for this week's game?
I mean, of course it's going to bring, excitement, on the outside looking in because you have the number one team in the country coming in here. But, we just have to, stick to our game and keep playing how we play. We can't let, the fact that they're the number one team in the country, change our way of thinking because from week one, you have to practice hard, and that has to carry out throughout the whole season. It shouldn't change, like, no matter the team. That's just something that you're just going to have to do each and every week because there's so many great teams in the ACC that, you can never relax any week. Like, you can be beaten on any given week. So that's how we go about it. But we definitely have our work cut out for us.
Hey, Jeff, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the offensive line and the protection they've been providing you, and how comfortable do you feel now sitting back there in the pocket?
Yeah, the offensive line is doing a great job. They told me before the season that they would have my back, and they're keeping their word. So I feel very comfortable back there knowing that they're protecting me up there and doing what they got to do.
Next question comes from Charles Odom from the Associated Press.
This is the first time number one team's at Georgia Tech in a long time, 40 years. Where are you guys at in your rebuild job, and how ready do you think you guys are for a challenge like this?
This is definitely a great opportunity. Playing against the #1 team, we get to show how much we've improved from last year. But I feel like we're prepared. We're preparing as we go, and we just got to go out there and give it our all. And we can't think too much about them being the #1 team, because at the end of the day, they still play football like we do. They're still humans like us. So just got to go out there and play to the best of our abilities.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Hey, Jeff, what have you seen on film looking at the Clemson defense? Kind of what stands out to you as maybe their strengths?
One thing that stood out to me is that they're very disciplined. They like to attack the ball. Like whoever has the ball, they'll go to the ball. So just got to be disciplined. We just got to protect the ball and just go out there and play hard.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Jeff, obviously I think a lot of fans are excited about you and Jameer being freshmen and just how much time you guys could have together and things you can do. I'm curious, is that something, I'm sure it's not the first thing you think about, but, what does that mean, I think, just for this team and its future that and plus Jordan as well, that you got 3 really important pieces on the offense that have some time together?
We definitely got a lot of freshmen that's going to be a big impact in the future. We got a couple more on offense that's about to make their shine. A couple more on defense that's going to go crazy. So I'm definitely excited about the future of this team and just the players that we have around us and all the incoming players that's coming in the class of 2021. Just going to be a great team in the future.
Another question from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Jeff, how important was it to get the 2 Dylans back and, allow you to do some things maybe you couldn't do before with the offense?
Yeah, our tight ends play a big role in our offense, blocking and pass game. Run game and pass game. So just having them back, it's a great, it made our offense feel more complete, and we were able to do more things and more of our plays and more of our formations and things like that. So just having them back was a big deal in our offense.
Another question from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
You've got 4 games under your belt now. How's the speed of the game for you? Are you seeing things start to slow down a little bit in terms of how you see the field and what goes on in each play?
Yeah, it's definitely starting to slow down for me. I prepare a lot during the week, and it just comes slow to me in the game. So just getting that experience, and I'm still learning a lot of things as I go, but it's definitely starting to slow down to me, and I'm definitely getting more comfortable in the playbook and just sitting back there in the pocket and just going through my reads and stuff like that.
Time for a couple more for Jeff. First one comes from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Jeff, on that same type of subject, how are you progressing with your reads and that type of thing? And have there been any surprises that you've come across, in your 4-game experience?
There really hasn't been anything that I haven't seen on film. So just applying what I practice and what I prepare for in the game, and just seeing how it comes to play in reality, it helps a lot. So it's starting to slow down a lot. Going through my reads easier. I'm starting to understand coverages better. So just staying in the film room and learning things like that is helping me.
Last one comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Jeff, I was wondering, is Trevor Lawrence someone you watched much, in high school as whenever Clemson happened to be playing?
Not really. I think he's a great quarterback. He's a great guy. I like what he stands for and how he presents himself to the public. But I didn't really watch a lot of him when I was in high school, but he's definitely a great quarterback to watch and learn from.